Today I'm going to be making a new what if called Ultimate Being Naruto. The Naruto's attack goes pretty much the same, except Minato survives and he has two younger siblings, and so on. And it says a little bit of a neglected one. We skip, when the Shinigami was stealing the Nine Tails, he looked at Naruto like, why did he feel so familiar? Is what the Shinigami was thinking while he looked at him, and then he stopped, and then he looked and did the seal. And then we're gonna skip. Naruto has been beaten for roughly 4 years now. He is 5. Because he's been being beaten since he was 1, but he was really intelligent since he was 1, and he doesn't really have. Anyways, let's get to it. Today he meets a boy with white hair and 2 different colored eyes. Think of this person, but like as a kid. This is like the Shinigami's human form, and he doesn't want anyone to know about it. He says, hi. He bumps into him, and he's like, and Naruto says, "Oh, sorry, please don't hurt me." He says, "Why would I do that?" Because the same reason that everyone else hurts me, he says. Well, I don't think that's right. Come on, let's go play. Actually, no. Before that, he says, "How about this? Wanna be friends?" And he says, "Sure." And one day he was being beaten, and he got in the way because he saw it. And they've been friends roughly for 3 months now, and this one's already taken a big liking. Like the Shinigami's human form, like the Shinigami's taken a liking to him, and he sees that the Shinigami is being beaten, and this comes out, like this side comes out, and it goes straight to the Tomo of this Sharingan type. Which is the 3rd form of it. And then this has some extra abilities, but we'll talk of them over time. With each Tomo, there's a new ability. I won't explain all of them. The second Tomo ability, the first Tomo ability is the first stage's ability is not just like equal to the essentially the perception speed of a 2-3 Tomoe. This has the same perception speed, but has Amaterasu, and then this adds in Kamui. Anyways, now that that's been said, the Shinigami sees this, and he remembers some of his memories on who he was, but he doesn't want to. But he feels like this one is also a reincarnation of someone else that he was friends with, because he was friends with someone else, which is my own OC, the original, like the true god of death. Well, that one is just like his best friend that he helps. Anyways, I'm gonna say he's him and Ashura as reincarnation, and Ashura was friends with him as well. Anyways, we're gonna continue. And his hair turned black when this happened, but no one ever noticed because they were just too focused on calling him a demon. Anyways, they've been hanging out for around. We skipped to the academy. They've been hanging around for 3 years now. They've been friends for 3 years. By now, Naruto has seen so much that happened to him that he has gotten this 7 Tomoe right here. So what I'm gonna say is the 4th Tomoe gives access to. The 3rd Tomoe gives access to Madara's ability. The 2nd one, Tsukiyomi. The 4th one, Tsukiyomi. 5th one, Kodomatsukami. And then my own Genjutsu on the 6th one, called Kodomatsu Komi, which makes them do literally anything you say, and they always know what you're trying to do. But their real self is constantly in Tsukiyomi. And then the last one, which is essentially reviving someone, which is essentially like a version of the whatchamacallit, the Edo Tensei, like the ability to revive people. Essentially, it's a perfected version of that doesn't require anything. That's the seventh one's ability. He has the 7 Tomoe right now. Oh, man. There. And I'm gonna say that that these are essentially the dojutsu of death, like a special Rinnegan. He has them because he's because they were best friends. But still, we're gonna continue. One day, they say, the demon and one day Minato still hasn't found out about him, and he says, and finally the villagers have had enough of it, and they say the demon has a friend in the council meeting that they called. And Minato and every council except for Shikamaru's and Choji's dad say, what clan was he from? He didn't say. No one knows. Not even Naruto, but they get along very well. Well, then we better try and execute him. They go and try to execute him, but then they see him moving to a weird place in the forest with Naruto. They sit down and say, and now the Shinigami meditates, tells Naruto to meditate, and then he'll go into his mindscape with him to tell him a secret, because he knows about it. Because by now Naruto has learned about it. So yeah, and they're like, what? They have some mind people go in, and he says, well, it's nice to meet the reincarnation of my 2 friends. Dean, well, I'm the Shinigami. I sense 2 familiar presences from you, so I came back in a human form. Wait, what? In this place, I should be able to go into my main form. They see his body turned into steam mist, and then form into the Shinigami here. And he takes out the knife from his mouth and says, cool, but I did truly want to be your friend again, as you are the reincarnation of my only 2 friends, named Ashura, and the other one was the true god of death. Or should I say, the ultimate god, or the ultimate being. You have so many dojutsu. You have the special Rinnegan that I have, which allows you the special seal known as the Infinity Prong seal, a seal that can only be taken out by one of us. Okay, that sounds cool. Anyways, what should I call you? Because, by the way, he went by the name Shino. He says, just call me that, but when we're alone, you can call me whatever you want. Okay, I'll call you Shino. Thank you. And I can tell you're not scared of me. Anyways, you guys that are in here, if you tell anyone, I will reap yourself or myself. Anyways, sorry I had to cut this short, but actually no, give me a moment. Okay, I'm back. Anyways, he says, you guys, I know you're there. If you tell anyone, I will personally reap your soul. And he says, okay. And he says, what did you hear? I was blocked out. I think it was by the Nine Tails is what they said. Oh, then we should beat that demon. Then they both open their eyes. And they act like they can't sense no one. But actually, no. Neither of them heard anything because by the time they did it, an hour had already passed, and Naruto and him had already known. And then by the time they got in, they were leaving. And then when they left, the person was kicked out. That's better. And then they all say, what happened? I think Nine Tails kicked me out. And then they all go. And then they all. And the Shinigami and Naruto, they act like they can't sense anyone. But then they try and beat Shinigami first to a bloody pulp after Kushina did her chains. He gets very mad from this. No. He instantly, also after hearing that, he has the final stage, and seeing that his friend was so close to death, he gained, here it is, an ultimate Mangekyu. However, this one gives a ton of more abilities, but this one, it has its unique ability to copy any Kekkei Genkai and fuse them and create Kekkei Genkai. Those are the abilities of this. Along with it's way more powerful, and it's automatically the Eternal. So he activates that. But in one eye, it swirls so far to the point where it goes to the special one. To be exact, his left eye. This would technically be his left, but this is on my left side, by the way. Okay, and then they're like, how does the demon have that dojutsu? We should stop his eyes. But before that happened, he wiped their memories and then said, and then he deactivated them and made them think that they bleed him, and he put a genjutsu on himself, making it seem like it, and then he says, he coughs on purpose and makes it look like blood came out of his mouth when that was just animal blood that he put in his mouth, and says, I'm leaving this village. Hey, Shino, can you please bring me to the sand? As I'm gonna say that Gaara and him have been friends, but he hasn't met Shino yet. And he doesn't know of Shino even. And he goes to that and he says, wait, aren't you one of those dang villagers? To Shino that keep beating him. And he says, no. He was one of my friends as well. They were gonna beat me, and well, something happened, and this happened. Wait, what? I heal quite fast, though. Are you a Jinchuriki, too? No, I just have a special ability of special soul fire, which essentially heals those who healed me. It was made of pure chakra. Not even an ounce of fire element. It's just flame-shaped pure chakra that heals anything that touches it. Or at least it can bring life, but then it can also destroy it if you want it to use the opposite effect. However, it takes ridiculous amounts of chakra. Also, Shukaku is trying to break out right now because he senses that's the Reaper and wants to attack it. But we might have a fight in the next part. But cliffhanger no jutsu.